The morning sun cast long shadows across the grounds of Windsor Castle as Detective Inspector Sarah Mitchell reviewed the security footage from the previous evening's charity gala. As the lead royal protection officer, she had witnessed many controversies over her 15-year career, but nothing quite like what she was about to discover. Sarah had been assigned to the royal family since 2018, earning their trust through her discretion and unwavering loyalty. She understood the delicate balance required in her position, protecting the family while respecting their privacy. However, recent tensions within the royal household had made her job increasingly complex. The charity event had been organized to support children's education initiatives, a cause close to Queen Camilla's heart. The evening had proceeded smoothly until the final hour when photographers began snapping pictures of the younger royals. Sarah noticed the unusual attention Laura Lopes, Camilla's daughter, was receiving from the press photographers. Laura had always maintained a relatively low profile compared to other royal family members. As Camilla's daughter from her first marriage, she held no official royal title but often attended family events. Sarah had observed Laura's careful navigation of royal protocols over the years, always respectful but maintaining her independence. During the gala, Sarah's trained eye caught something that made her stomach drop. Around Laura's neck was an unmistakable sapphire and diamond necklace, one that Sarah immediately recognized from her extensive knowledge of royal jewelry collections. The piece had belonged to Princess Diana and was considered one of her most treasured possessions. Sarah's mind raced as she recalled the strict protocols surrounding Diana's jewelry. After the princess's death, her personal collection had been carefully catalogued and distributed according to her wishes and royal tradition. Most pieces were held in the royal vault, with specific items designated for Catherine and future daughters-in-law. The sapphire necklace was particularly significant as Diana had worn it during several important state functions. The security footage confirmed Sarah's suspicions. The necklace was indeed the same piece Diana had worn to the 1982 state dinner with President Reagan. Sarah had studied photographs of that evening during her training, learning to identify significant royal artifacts as part of her protection duties. As the evening progressed, Sarah noticed increased media attention focusing on Laura's jewelry. Several photographers seemed to recognize the significance of the piece, their cameras clicking more frequently whenever Laura moved. The flashes reflected off the sapphires, creating an almost ethereal glow around Diana's former necklace. Sarah faced a difficult decision. Her primary responsibility was protecting the royal family from potential scandals and security breaches. However, she also understood the emotional significance of Diana's jewelry to Princes William and Harry. The unauthorized wearing of such a significant piece could create serious family tensions and public relations challenges. The detective inspector had witnessed firsthand how jewelry disputes could escalate within royal circles. She remembered the careful negotiations that had taken place when Catherine received Diana's engagement ring and the sensitivity required when distributing other pieces from the collection. Every decision regarding Diana's belongings carried enormous emotional weight for the entire family. Sarah's phone buzzed with messages from other security personnel who had also noticed the necklace. The palace press office was already receiving inquiries from journalists who had recognized the piece from historical photographs. The situation was escalating rapidly, and Sarah knew she needed to act quickly to manage the potential fallout. The evening ended without any public incidents, but Sarah remained deeply concerned about the implications of what she had witnessed. She spent the night reviewing protocols and considering her next steps. Her loyalty to the royal family meant she needed to address this situation carefully while respecting everyone involved. As dawn broke over London, Sarah made her decision. She would need to have a private conversation with Queen Camilla about what she had observed. The conversation would be delicate, requiring all of her diplomatic skills and understanding of royal family dynamics. Sarah understood that Camilla's position as queen consort was still relatively new and carried its own challenges. The relationship between Camilla and Diana's memory remained a sensitive topic for the public and the royal family alike. Any suggestion of impropriety regarding Diana's belongings could create significant controversy. The detective inspector also considered the possibility that Laura had permission to wear the necklace, though this seemed unlikely given the strict protocols she had observed over her career. Royal jewelry loans were typically documented and announced, especially for pieces of such historical significance. Sarah's experience had taught her that family dynamics within the royal household could be complex and sometimes surprising. She had learned to approach sensitive situations with an open mind while maintaining her professional responsibilities. However, the unauthorized wearing of Diana's jewelry crossed a line that she could not ignore. As she prepared for what would likely be one of the most difficult conversations of her career, Sarah reflected on her commitment to protecting not just the physical safety of the royal family, but also their reputation and the integrity of royal traditions. The sapphire necklace represented more than just jewelry. It was a symbol of Diana's legacy and the careful stewardship of royal heritage. The morning newspapers would soon be delivered, and Sarah hoped that the significance of Laura's jewelry choice had escaped the notice of royal correspondents. However, her experience suggested that very little escaped the attention of the British press, especially when it concerned anything related to Princess Diana. Sarah checked her secure communications device one final time before heading to the palace. She knew that the next few hours would be crucial in determining how this situation would unfold and whether it could be managed quietly within the family or would become a public controversy that could damage relationships and reputations that had taken years to build. Queen Camilla was reviewing correspondence in her private study when Sarah Mitchell requested an urgent meeting. The morning light filtered through the tall windows of Clarence's house as Sarah was escorted into the elegantly appointed room where Camilla conducted much of her official business. Sarah had rehearsed this conversation multiple times, but facing the queen consort in person made her acutely aware of the gravity of the situation. Camilla looked up from her papers with a warm smile, though Sarah detected a hint of concern in her expression. "Your Majesty, I need to discuss a sensitive matter regarding last night's charity gala," Sarah began carefully. She had learned over the years that direct communication was often appreciated by senior royals, who dealt with enough diplomatic language in their daily duties. Camilla set down her pen and gave Sarah her full attention. The queen consort had developed a good working relationship with her protection officers and valued their judgment on matters of security and protocol. Sarah's serious demeanor immediately conveyed the importance of whatever she needed to discuss. Sarah presented the photographs from the previous evening, pointing out the sapphire and diamond necklace that Laura had worn. She explained her concerns about the piece's significance and the potential implications of its public appearance without proper authorization. Her voice remained steady and professional despite the delicate nature of the conversation. The color drained from Camilla's face as she examined the photographs. Sarah watched as recognition and then concern crossed the queen's features. Camilla's reaction confirmed Sarah's suspicions that Laura had not received official permission to wear Diana's necklace. "I had no idea Laura was wearing that particular piece," Camilla said quietly, her voice carrying a mix of surprise and worry. "She mentioned borrowing some jewelry for the evening, but I assumed she meant pieces from my own collection." Sarah explained that several photographers had recognized the necklace and that the palace press office was already receiving inquiries. The situation needed to be managed carefully to prevent it from becoming a public relations crisis that could damage family relationships and royal protocol. Camilla requested details about which media outlets had shown interest and what specific questions were being asked. Sarah provided a comprehensive briefing, including her assessment of how quickly the story might develop and spread across social media platforms, where royal news often gained momentum rapidly. The queen consort asked for Sarah's recommendation on how to proceed. Sarah suggested that a private family conversation should take place as soon as possible, before any media reports could complicate the situation. She emphasized the importance of addressing the matter internally before it became a public issue. Camilla agreed to speak with Laura immediately and thanked Sarah for bringing the matter to her attention so quickly. The Queen's professionalism in handling the situation impressed Sarah, who had seen other royals react more defensively when faced with similar challenges. Within an hour, Laura arrived at Clarence's house looking confused about the urgent summons from her mother. Sarah observed from a distance as mother and daughter had what appeared to be an intense private conversation in Camilla's study. The discussion lasted nearly an hour, with both women's voices occasionally rising above their usual calm tones. When Laura emerged from the study, her face was flushed and she appeared visibly distressed. She avoided eye contact with Sarah and other staff members as she quickly left the building. Sarah noticed that Laura was no longer wearing any jewelry, having apparently returned the contentious necklace during their conversation. Camilla summoned Sarah back to her study to discuss the next steps. The Queen explained that Laura had found the necklace in a jewelry box that had been stored in the attic of Camilla's country home. Laura claimed she had assumed it was part of Camilla's personal collection and had not realized its historical significance or connection to Diana. Sarah listened carefully to this explanation while considering its implications. Her knowledge of royal jewelry protocols suggested that Diana's pieces should have been properly catalogued and stored in secure royal vaults, not left in attic storage where they might be discovered accidentally. The Queen Consort appeared genuinely distressed by the situation and its potential consequences for family harmony. She expressed particular concern about how Princes William and Harry might react if they learned that Diana's jewelry had been improperly stored or handled. Sarah suggested conducting a thorough inventory of all jewelry pieces in Camilla's possession to ensure that no other items of historical significance had been similarly misplaced. This would demonstrate proactive responsibility and help prevent future incidents. Camilla agreed to the inventory proposal and requested that it be conducted discreetly by trusted staff members. She also asked Sarah to monitor media coverage and provide regular updates on any developing stories related to the previous evening's gala. The afternoon brought the first media inquiries specifically about Laura's jewelry choices at the charity event. Royal correspondents who had attended the gala were beginning to piece together the significance of the sapphire necklace they had photographed. Sarah fielded these calls carefully, providing no confirmation while gathering intelligence about what the press had discovered. Social media analysis revealed that several royal fashion enthusiasts had posted comparisons between Laura's necklace and historical photographs of Diana wearing the same piece. These posts were gaining traction and attracting attention from major news outlets that specialized in royal coverage. Sarah realized that containing the story would require more than just internal family management. The public interest in anything related to Diana's legacy meant that this incident could quickly escalate beyond the family's control if not handled carefully. Prince William's private secretary contacted the palace seeking information about reports of Diana's jewelry appearing at public events. This call confirmed Sarah's fears that news of the incident was spreading through official royal channels and would soon reach the princes themselves. Camilla made the difficult decision to personally contact Prince William to explain the situation before he heard about it through other sources. Sarah listened as the Queen Consort carefully explained the circumstances surrounding Laura's inadvertent wearing of Diana's necklace. The conversation between Camilla and William was lengthy and at times appeared tense. Sarah could hear the prince's voice rising occasionally through the phone, though she could not make out specific words. Camilla's responses were apologetic and conciliatory, clearly trying to manage the emotional impact of the revelation. When the call ended, Camilla appeared exhausted and worried about the long-term implications of the incident. She asked Sarah to prepare a comprehensive report documenting exactly how the situation had been handled and what steps were being taken to prevent similar occurrences. The evening brought news that several major newspapers were planning to run stories about the jewelry incident in their next editions. Sarah worked with the palace press office to prepare appropriate responses while trying to minimize the potential damage to family relationships and royal protocol. As night fell over London, Sarah reflected on how quickly a seemingly minor protocol breach had escalated into a major crisis, threatening family harmony and public perception of royal stewardship of historical artifacts. The incident highlighted the complex challenges faced by the modern royal family as they balanced tradition with contemporary family dynamics. The morning newspapers arrived at Sarah Mitchell's desk with headlines that made her heart sink. Diana's jewelry mystery and missing royal treasures dominated the front pages of several major publications. The story had exploded overnight, far beyond what Sarah had hoped to contain through careful management. Royal correspondents had worked through the night, comparing photographs and consulting with jewelry experts to confirm the identification of Diana's sapphire necklace. The coverage was extensive and detailed, leaving little room for the palace to downplay the significance of what had occurred. Sarah's phone rang constantly as media outlets sought official responses to their stories. The palace press office was overwhelmed with inquiries not just about the necklace incident, but also about the security and management of Diana's entire jewelry collection. Questions were being raised about whether other pieces might be missing or improperly stored. Prince Harry's office issued a strongly worded statement expressing concern about the handling of their mother's personal belongings. The statement stopped short of directly criticizing Queen Camilla or Laura, but clearly conveyed displeasure with the situation. This public response escalated the controversy beyond family disagreement into a matter of public interest and scrutiny. Sarah met with senior palace officials to coordinate a comprehensive response strategy. The incident had raised questions about royal protocols that extended far beyond one misplaced necklace. The public expected accountability and transparency about how historical royal artifacts were being preserved and protected. Queen Camilla appeared at her scheduled public engagement that morning, maintaining her composure despite the media storm swirling around her family. Photographers captured every expression and gesture, looking for signs of distress or defensiveness. The Queen Consort handled questions with dignity while declining to provide specific details about private family matters. Laura Lopes remained out of public view, having canceled several planned appearances following the media coverage. Sarah received reports that Laura was deeply upset about becoming the center of a royal controversy and felt unfairly targeted by press coverage that questioned her judgment and integrity. The inventory of jewelry pieces in Camilla's possession revealed additional concerning discoveries. Several other items that should have been in royal vaults were found in storage at various properties, suggesting that the organization and tracking of Diana's collection had been less comprehensive than previously believed. Sarah worked with royal archivists to reconstruct exactly how Diana's jewelry had been distributed and stored following her death. The investigation revealed that some pieces had been moved multiple times over the years, with documentation sometimes falling behind the physical relocations of items. Prince William requested a private meeting with Queen Camilla to discuss the broader implications of the jewelry incident. Sarah attended the meeting to provide security expertise and factual details about the discovery and investigation process. The conversation was frank and sometimes difficult, but remained respectful throughout. During the meeting, William expressed his disappointment that his mother's belongings had not been handled with greater care and oversight. He emphasized the emotional significance of Diana's jewelry, not just to the family, but to the public who viewed these items as part of her lasting legacy. Camilla accepted full responsibility for the inadequate storage and tracking of the jewelry pieces. She proposed implementing new protocols for managing historical royal artifacts, including regular audits and enhanced security measures. The Queen Consort also offered to personally oversee the proper return and documentation of all Diana-related items. Sarah suggested establishing a formal committee to oversee the preservation and management of royal historical artifacts. This committee would include representatives from both William and Harry's offices, ensuring that Diana's belongings would be handled according to the wishes of her sons. The media coverage intensified when jewelry experts began discussing the broader implications of the incident. Some commentators questioned whether other significant royal artifacts might be inadequately protected or documented. This speculation threatened to expand the controversy beyond Diana's jewelry to encompass the entire royal collection. Public opinion polls showed mixed reactions to the incident. Many people expressed sympathy for Laura, viewing her as an innocent victim of circumstance who had made an honest mistake. However, others criticized the royal family's handling of Diana's legacy and called for greater transparency about historical artifacts. Sarah coordinated with international security experts to review protocols at other royal households and museums. The goal was to identify best practices for artifact management that could be implemented to prevent similar incidents in the future. These consultations revealed that the British royal family's informal approach to some historical items was unusual compared to other institutions. The palace announced a comprehensive review of all royal jewelry and artifact collections to be conducted by independent experts with oversight from family representatives. This announcement helped calm some of the public criticism by demonstrating a commitment to addressing the underlying issues that had led to the incident. Laura Lopes issued a public apology through her solicitor, expressing regret for the controversy and emphasizing that she had never intended any disrespect to Diana's memory. The statement was carefully crafted to acknowledge responsibility while explaining the circumstances that had led to her wearing the necklace. Prince Harry's response to Laura's apology was notably warmer than his initial statement, suggesting that direct communication between family members was helping to repair relationships damaged by the incident. Sarah observed that the family seemed to be finding ways to address their differences privately while managing public expectations. The comprehensive jewelry audit took several weeks to complete and revealed that while most items were properly accounted for, several pieces required better documentation and storage. The process led to significant improvements in how royal artifacts were tracked and preserved for future generations. Sarah reflected on how the incident had tested every aspect of her professional skills, from initial recognition of the problem through crisis management and long-term protocol development. The experience reinforced her understanding of how seemingly small oversights could have major consequences in the highly scrutinized world of the royal family. 6 months later, the new artifact management protocols were fully implemented, and the jewelry incident had largely faded from public attention. Sarah observed that the family relationships had ultimately been strengthened by working through the crisis together, though it had required considerable effort and good faith from all parties involved. The sapphire and diamond necklace was formally returned to the royal vault, where it would remain until a future occasion when it might be worn with proper authorization and ceremony. Sarah made sure to personally verify its secure storage, understanding that this particular piece would always carry special significance for everyone involved in its brief, controversial journey back to public view.